Story came out yesterday that at one point during his captivity, Bergdahl converted to Islam and fraternized openly with his captors and declared himself mujahideen. Is that a problem? Warrior for Islam. It's according to secret documents prepared on the basis of the eyewitness account obtained now by Fox News. The report indicates that Bergdahl's relations with his captors morphed over time from periods of hostility where he was treated very much like a hostage to periods where he, as one source said, he became much more of an accepted fellow than he is properly understood. He even reportedly was allowed to carry a gun at times. Documents show Bergdahl at one point escaped his captors for 5 days and was kept upon his recapture in a metal cage like an animal. In addition, the reports detail discussions of prisoner swaps and other attempts at a negotiated resolution, and the case appeared to have commenced as early as the fall of 2009. So he has converted to Islam. Now, look, if you were in a metal cage, you can't judge man's heart. You're in a metal cage, you've been there for 5 years, at some point do you say, whatever. If you're not a guy who is strong in, he didn't like America all that much, so you're not strong in that. I don't know if he was strong in his faith. I mean, you might start believing that stuff. And so you just like, you know what, I'm with you guys. But the good news is he's back at home and he's going to be with his dad, who is so red, white, and blue that I think we have nothing but road to recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ahead of us.
Absolutely. You also mentioned something that's problematic within the context of that story, and that's that they, at one point, negotiated something. They didn't negotiate with terrorists.
Thank you.
I don't know who wrote that, but I'm tired of that
probably
lie.
Faux news.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Why,
But
what's the truth?
Let's go right to the State Department spokesperson, Marie Harf, who yesterday was talking about all of this and pretty well cleared it up.
We were concerned about it and the possibility that harm could come to him, particularly if once we concluded the agreement, it was made public.
But a lot of people have jumped all over that and said she wasn't going to say negotiated. She was going to say negatively charged ions. And that helped us conclude our agreement.
Play that again, because I didn't hear the negatively charged.
Oh, you didn't hear that?
No, go ahead, play that again.
Oh, yeah, because you've got to pay very close attention. Now, listen.
We were concerned about it and the possibility that harm could come to him, particularly if once we concluded the agreement, it was
See, that's where she's about to say the negatively charged ions, and then she realized that's over the heads of all these people.
If we negatively charged ions the agreement?
Right. Yes, we would have concluded our agreement, because that's what was lacking in the agreement process.
Terrible.
Oh, and listen to this.
When it was released, we were negotiating. We were trying to get him home.
I'm sorry,
when
what?
it was released, we were negotiating.
They were negotiating? What? I'm sorry.
When it was released, we were negotiating. We were trying to get him home.
I mean, the State Department spokesperson has said we were negotiating, trying to get him home. And then they continue to try to tell us.
No, but we don't negotiate.
We don't negotiate.
Well, so what's left in that? You have to say that these guys aren't terrorists. You have to try to go after the other side of it and say these guys, well, look, yeah, sure, they captured some of our people, but it was a war, or we were actually negotiating with Gutter, or
I'd like to see the flag over their camp. What was that flag? Was it the flag of Qatar, or was there a flag? These are terrorists. Aren't they the Haqqani terrorist group? That's who had him. It wasn't even
when you say
actually
it that
the
way,
Taliban.
When you say it that way, it sounds bad. The Haqqani terrorist group. When you say it, the Haqqani terrorist group, it doesn't sound as bad.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes. No, but...
Okay, it's all in the emphasis.
It's in the emphasis?
Yes. When you put it in the right emphasis, you can understand it, and that's the whole thing.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you guys aren't. Are you guys a doctor?
No, that's true.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
I am
all right.
not.
But Harry Reid, cut at 426. Harry Reid is right on top of things. He has got it down, and I don't think we've heard enough from Harry Reid.
In my opinion, every day that he was there was a day closer to his dying.
Well, unlike the rest of us, where every day we're here on this planet,
we're not closer to dying.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
You're more alive than the day before.
Yeah.
And you've just got more.
I'm closer to living every day.
Yes. You saw the guy when he was released. He's not closer to dying. He's not close to dying.
They said he was in really good shape.
Yeah.
Really good shape.
Is this like what's the Brad Pitt movie where he aged in reverse?
Mr. Benjamin
Maybe
Buttons.
he went in really, really
old. And so we didn't understand the aging process was going the other way.
Right.
Now, just a thought. Also, I would say
he looks pretty healthy now.
He does.
One explanation for Harry Reid that we have not explored is potentially he's aging physically normally, but aging mentally like Benjamin Button. So he's actually getting closer and closer to birth, which is why he seems to get dumber and dumber by the day. Is that
I don't
possible?
think he's dumber. I really don't think he's dumber.
Or more, well, I mean...
He's more senile.
Yeah, well...
That guy, there's something wrong with him. There's seriously something wrong with him.
I mean, I like the Benjamin Button explanation better than going into the senility discussion, but, that's okay.
No, I mean, it's just Alzheimer's or senility or
Benjamin Button.
Or Benjamin Button.
Mentally, Benjamin Button, but physically, definitely normal aging process.
All right.
The other good aspect of this story is that the Taliban has now said they're more inspired to kidnap more Americans.
I find that hard to believe.
What?
I find that hard to believe.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They asked for 4 years for these 5 guys to be released, and we always said no.
Right.
Okay. And then we release them, and we just take one of our traitors in exchange for their top 5 leaders. Why would they be...
Why would that embolden them?
Why would they embolden them or empower them to kidnap our soldiers? I don't understand what you're saying.
It is complex.
Yeah, especially when we said we only did this because he was treated so poorly. So what that is just guaranteed is that they're going to kidnap our soldiers and treat them very well. They'll treat them very well.
I think so. I mean, the incentives are clearly there for them to stop immediately taking hostages. Because what are they going to get out of it other than everything they ask for?
What happens when there is trouble? What happens when one of these guys does something? Do we even care?
It's a good question to ask now. What's the Monica Lewinsky example you always give?
Yeah, that we always argued back and forth. He's lying. No, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he's not. And then when we found out he was lying, we had argued that over and over for so long. They immediately changed it to doesn't matter. What? Yes, it does. No, it doesn't.
Life.
Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. And you never got to the end of it because at first we all agreed that it mattered. Otherwise, you wouldn't be arguing it. You would have said from the beginning when we said this guy did this.
You would have said so.
You would
it
have said,
doesn't matter.
So what? It doesn't matter. But enough time went by to where they could make the argument. It doesn't matter anyway.
So is this a good thing to get your friends who are liberal or progressive on record for? If we find out that these guys go back and do kill people and attack and get back on the battlefield, does it matter?
Yes.
Get them on record now. So when it happens, we can all revisit that conversation.
Yeah. Does it matter to you? Does it matter to you that this guy was supposedly a traitor? Does it matter that his father gave a Islamic blessing and his son has said that he has gone Islamic?
And if one or all of these 5 guys commit more terror against Americans or troops, will that matter? Will that matter to you?
And more importantly than all of this, and this is where we keep getting lost, does it matter that the president went and the State Department went to Congress and said in 2009, this is what we want to do? And Congress, a Democratic Congress, said, no, you're not doing that. Well, yes, we are. No, you're not. Yes, we are. No, we're not. Yes, we are. No, we're not. And Congress decides to pass a law specifically to stop this president from doing exactly what he just did. That's what they passed, a law that basically said, Barack Obama, you're not allowed to release these hostages from Gitmo unless you provide material evidence that they will not go back onto the battlefield, and unless you give us 30 days prior notice. They passed that law specifically about these 5 guys because they kept asking. Does it matter? Does it matter that his own party passed a law that said he cannot do this, and he just did it, and then he lied about it? Then he came out and tried to make it about this guy being sick and a hero when they knew he wasn't a hero and they knew he wasn't sick. Does it matter? I say, yes, it does. Will anybody really look into this? I say, we'll keep beating this drum. But how long does this drum take? Look at, I mean, you know what really kills me? Is Susan Rice is the same one doing the smokescreen. It's the same people. And again, this isn't about this president. It's about the next president of the United States. It's about our children being held to a standard. If no one is held to any standard in our society except the people at the bottom of the ladder, what does that teach? That teaches that there are two classes. And it has nothing to do with black and white. It has everything to do with the powerful and the non-powerful, those who will play ball with the dictocrats and those who will not. Those who have something to offer the dictocrats and those who do not. We have to repeg to the Constitution. No matter how ugly it is, we have to find our way back to each other because we agree on more than we disagree. We have to find our way back to those principles and say, look, this is American. And you know what? You go live your life your way. You want to smoke dope all you want. Just smoke dope. I don't really care. Does the truth matter? Do you have to live honorably and decently? Do you have to tell the truth? If you break the law and you're a dope smoker, or you are the president of the United States, do you go in front of a court of law and justice is blind? And it is dealt out evenly. There are no special classes. There are no special people, including the President of the United States.
President of the United States and a dope smoker are one and the same, by the way.
See, you're not helping me now. You're just not helping me.
Well, you're stating factual things from his biography.
Well, right, but we're not living in a factual world now, are we?
Do I remind you of the Chuma
No, we just have to find our way back to each other.